Hi guys, we are back. I am your host Priscilla Moy, and wasn't Kurt amazing? He's such a champ for going through that long interview. But again, he is not boring and he is great to look at. So I'm sure that all of you women at home are just sitting there like, I don't care, I'll just keep talking. We love to hear the accent, we love to see it. So absolutely great. So we are switching over to another part of Vegas, another person who's absolutely doing amazing things and showcasing that Las Vegas has so much opportunity in this city for anyone to succeed no matter what you're doing. And he does so many different things that you're kind of like, okay, none of them relate, but like you do it, so it's possible. Like anything's possible, guys. So I had the pleasure of meeting him years ago when I had first moved here, and I'm glad we stayed in contact, and I'm able to see that he has just expanded since. So everyone, please meet the one, the only, Rayce Rayos, aka Rayce the Realtor and beyond. Welcome him to the hot seat.
You're
nice
the sweetest.
to
You're the
see
sweetest.
you.
Thank you so much. Great to see you again.
Yes.
Too. It's been years at this
I
point.
know. Amazing. Now, he was going to be on my show a couple of episodes ago, but I'm glad that he is here now. It's a perfect time for him to come. Sitting here, we have men with sleeves today. This is a theme. There's always a theme. It ends up being every week. There's something relatable with all of my guests. Like it's just amazing.
Fair enough.
So I was telling them, obviously, because you heard that you do so many different things, like 3 in particular. You're a realtor.
Sure.
Now you founded a yoga company, like thing that's going on that's huge right now, and I can't wait to get into that. But also a clothing company.
Yes.
So many different things in entrepreneurship that people would not think Vegas would have, because they're used to the whole performer thing. They're used to the whole Kurt vibe, right?
I guess so.
But now let's dig into the realtor thing. Now, you were born and raised in Las Vegas.
Correct.
So you watched the city grow.
I certainly have.
Yeah, so you watched kind of see how it is huge for people to move here. Either they're originally probably retiring here, right? But now it's like people opening businesses, so many things are happening, tons of jobs. What is it like as a realtor and watching the city grow?
It's the best. It's the best. I mean, Las Vegas is, 118 years old, maybe a little bit older than that. And the growth that it's exhibited since its first formation is unlike anywhere else, right? I mean, it was during the early 20th century and then up through modern times, and so during that time we've been able to reinvent ourselves numerous times as a city as a whole, coming from Mormon and mobsters, things like that, to the premier vacation destination and things like that, with the onset of casinos, and then into what it's become now, which is becoming more so known as a hub for families and a low cost of living, high quality of life type of environment. Different than maybe our California neighbors or Pacific Northwest neighbors. So that's attractive to people who are who don't want to break the bank to live in a nice place where they feel safe, where they feel welcomed, and where they feel as though they're one morsel in a very, very diverse scene. So being able to practice real estate for the last 2023. I got licensed in 2018. 5 years. It'll be 6 years in August. So during those 6 years alone, we've gone through some considerable transitions as a society, a la pandemics, a la social upheaval and things like that, global social upheaval, on local and global scales. So navigating through those as a business person, as an entrepreneur, has been a treat and just a super formative experience. One that's made me come out on the other side much more capable, much more knowledgeable, much more useful to my clients, to myself, and just it's sort of expedited the process of me getting to where I foresee myself down the line, so that now I can pick another destination to head to, pick another mountain to start climbing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know real estate is huge here in Las Vegas when it comes to what people do for a living. They do real estate and they do something on the side, but everyone here is getting their licenses. And so I think to succeed, you have to kind of find a way to market Las Vegas and talk of it up in a way where you change the misconceptions and the presumptions of what people think Las Vegas actually is.
Right.
Why would I want to raise my family there? Why would I want my kids? How's the school systems? You know, is it unsafe? Is it really partying? There's a lot of this, that, and the third.
And that's true, and there is.
Yeah,
there's this time, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth.
But at the same time,
exactly.
it's for everyone of all ages.
That's so true. Certain zip codes for certain folks. As a local, I try to stay away from the Strip as much as possible, just because I know how enticing it can be, and how much of a playground it can be, and how quickly it can drain or fulfill your bank accounts. But yeah, I mean, there's something for everybody here. The old saying is that people think that we live in casinos and we live, in high rises, and that we live a glitz and glam life. And though, a great many of us do, because there's a great many world-class performers walking amongst the ranks of everyday Las Vegans, the vast majority of us are just everyday people who, are able to function and thrive in this society that not everybody is able to, whether it be because it's 115 degrees, or whether it be because there's traffic.
It's dry.
It's dry beyond. It's bone dry, which agrees with me, but not with everybody. I assume. But yeah, it's a really somewhat extreme place, weather-wise, but also just as a norm, as a par for the course for this place. It's like, sink or swim type of atmosphere.
Yes.
And, luckily, being from here, being engendered to diversity, at every single level of my life, and in many different ways, I've been able to, become a global citizen in a global city and take that moving forward in my, in my own business prowess or in my own approach.
It's very, very hard in ways to live here because there's no culture compared to if you're going to go to places like New York, Detroit, or South Carolina. It's very different because everyone's from somewhere else, and so how do you make a city out of people who are doing their own thing at one time, and then appeal to everyone at the same time without while keeping people coming in and expanding the city. So to live here, you have to be very, very strong. And you clearly are very proud of Las Vegas. You were born and raised, and you stayed. You stayed
here. I think it's the best city in the world, and I have no qualms about it. I'm quite positive. Not even beyond the point of convinced. It's sort of a factual at this point. Just I just really think it is. I think in terms of where are the chariot races, or where are the gladiator fights nowadays. Right, where when the Roman Empire was at the height, and Rome was the pinnacle of arguably the pinnacle of culture at that time, at that specific time in history. I think we've sort of embodied ourselves as a very similar thing in the form of heavyweight bouts at for the last 30 years having taken place here.
Yeah.
The largest gathering in terms of music festivals having taken place this very past weekend. Right? I think these are very, very significant and not so telltale, but quite obvious types of writing on the wall that just puts us as economically attractive to outside investment, whether it be domestic or whether it be foreign, but outside of Las Vegas investment, and just growing in sense of like a collective sense of pride for the Las Vegas resident.
Yeah, exactly. Because when we live here, we want to be in a city also that other big cities are also tribute to many big things that go there, because we're so used to having to travel. If you want to go see someone in concert, they're going to go to the big three. They're going to go to New York, Chicago, LA, and then now Oakland. But now Las Vegas is on the map, especially for big international artists and festivals, and that's great because people are taking us seriously. I had this argument on the show a lot with people, and I asked them, like, do you see Vegas growing, and how do you, because we're all waiting. We're waiting for that time when you're like, oh my God, this is the moment.
Right.
The Hollywood 2.0, the place where people come to visit and where people don't assume, like we were talking about earlier, that we're all just here at the clubs partying every single day until 4 a.m. And so people are taking us seriously as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as actors, because I think a lot of times people looking like, what's in Vegas? What kind of talent am I going
what's really out there?
Yeah, like I can find it better in LA, I can find it better in New York. You know what I mean? That whole stigma. And so this leads me into talking about your pride for the city, because you opened Downtown Yoga in the Park and Container Park.
Yes.
And it's a very great area for a lot of locals. You got downtown Las Vegas, and that's the home and the place where a lot of locals will go to if it's not the Strip.
Very much.
It's very old Vegas, so if you want to have that feel that hasn't changed, whenever you go to Fremont, you go to downtown, you go to the Arts District, it has that vibe, and it has where the locals thrive and start their businesses.
Sure.
So tell us the journey, because this happened, it's not brand new, but you've been doing it.
It's actually 6 years. It's been 6 years. I've been practicing yoga the year before I started practicing real estate, so I got my yoga credential 2017, the summer 2017, and since then been practicing and teaching hundreds of classes a year. Initially started teaching at the university, V. Shouts to the Rebels. Just graduated 2021 with a couple degrees from there, and then just started my master's program there as well. So just love, V. Have Hey Reb tatted, all that. But anyway, that's where I first started teaching after I got my credential. from there, sort of expanded to reaching out to different sort of groups and things like that that were doing stuff in the same realm, but not quite the same type of instruction. And so reached out to the Smith Center. The Smith Center, they'd be happy to have me teaching at Symphony Park. And so that's the little park just north of the Smith Center where they have of the theater. And so that was quite an experience as well. And it was free at this time. It was downtown yoga in the park, a free endeavor just for people to come with their families and tap into their vessels and tap into their breathing, things like that, and just feel grass, hopefully. And so that took place for 3 years or so, something like that, maybe 2.5 years, 3 years, and the officials from Container Park attended my event out there. One particular individual, the GM of Container Park, and he attended it with his family, and after they stayed we chatted for a moment, and then he had asked if I would like to do the same thing at Container Park. And, having been, I'm from 89101, which is, the downtown zip code, and knowing full and well just the transitional periods that block itself, let alone, the 6 blocks ensuing, have gone through, I just, was pretty happy to be given that opportunity to do it down there. And so the 3 years preceding the first 3 years, so these last 3 years, 2020 until now or so, maybe 2021 until now, have been at Container Park on the lawn out there. We have sound therapy Sunday, every first and third Sunday, and I have a wonderful, wonderful woman come through, and she does Tibetan bowls and rain sticks and, the tongue drums, things like that. And then the second and fourth Sunday, a friend of mine, Leticia Apablaza, she wrote a book called the Me Time Journal. And she just sort of leads meditation and journaling for the first half of class before we delve into the yoga. But the yoga is the primary component out there. We get down in the sunshine, birds chirping, but yoga is meant to be practiced outdoors. So, that's an important component that, does sort of scare somebody. Outdoors, June, Las Vegas, quite tough. We keep it pretty morning time if we can. 8:45. And then the park opens right at 10, so, everybody who comes down gets a discount for all the small businesses right there. Mm-hmm. Just try to keep it, full circle, keep it wholesome, keep it pretty universally mutual. And, I'm extremely and incredibly grateful to be able to use that space and to, unfold what is downtown yoga in that area. So I hold the class downtown yoga in the park there, and then my yoga outfit is downtown yoga, which is, wherever, we're doing yoga at. That's who's doing it. But
that's amazing because he was even featured on the news. I know
that
he's pretty well known that has yoga in the park, and it's a big thing for someone to be that courageous to come in the heat and in Las Vegas,
that's right.
And then feel zen and feel very in a place of peace.
Exactly, and I don't practice from too much the most philosophical standpoint. I have a bachelor's in kinesiology, and so my instruction is quite technical. Mm-hmm. Quite, hey, do this and do the, external rotation of our hip, of our leg at our hip, and not too much of the esoteric type of motifs, just because I don't feel comfortable.
They do the philosophy.
You know what I mean?
The spiritual.
Not to match that in the least bit. Just to say that my form of instruction is a bit more anatomically based, a bit more unshrouded in maybe some things that might be open to interpretation a bit more. Like I want to be easily interpreted. This is what we're doing. Opposing force couples.
Exactly. This is the right way to do it for your body. To make it useful.
Are we all human here? Are we all have the same muscles, right? For the most part.
You look at it from more of a sports area point of
view. I do want to work us out for sure, but through that cathartic sort of exercise, we can come to these deeper forms of self-reflection, of maybe epiphany or things like this, where it transcends just the physical element. It then enters the people crying on the mat, and it enters the wow, I need to take a moment and just I haven't been able to disassemble this deep thing going on in my life until I've withdrawn from my external environment like I am now. So let me now break this thing apart, this tough thing to break apart, and let me do that now, in a group, like nobody else, unbeknownst to everybody else, but you never know what's going on within the practitioner's mind.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That has been brought about by their foot being up here.
Exactly.
Or something like
especially in a place with Las Vegas, the mind's going like this. So you gotta calm down. How do you get someone? Because I know yoga's not for everyone, but how do you calm down and just stay in that moment and be present? And it's the hardest thing for people to do is literally to listen and be present in that moment and not worry about anything else. It's probably the hardest thing for
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a website for this, and it does talk a little bit about you guys,
Absolutely.
why you do it, why you started, things like that, and it does point that yoga is for everyone, right? You guys are very inclusive. There's a lot of workouts where people are very intimidated by them. Like, oh, that's not me.
Right.
You know, when you come to CrossFit or Pilates, there's people that are more fearful to do that versus what you're trying to preach about yoga, which is it's not. It's very, whatever fitness level, whoever you are, whatever you're going through, like, we welcome you in this space.
100%. I mean, the yoga is a term that translates to yoke, which is the much more overarching philosophy that was practiced, you know, some 6,000 years ago in India, Asia Minor, modern day India, things like that, written in Sanskrit, all that stuff. Asana practice is the movement of our bodies, which is one component of yoga. So we practice asana, we practice pranayama, which is breath work. So, you know, just the simplest forms of taking a moment to yourself. We don't necessarily have to put our body into a pretzel, into the toughest pretzel, just to say, I'm doing yoga or I'm good at yoga. And then people will often tell me, I'm not good at yoga. And that's not the right type of, descriptor one should be using for something like yoga. It's like, I know we all have difficulty looking at ourselves in the mirror sometimes, or just taking a moment for ourselves and breathing through it. But it's certainly not about competitive flexibility or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's the person who has to work that hard to get the same difficulty has to work harder. You know, the person who isn't as limber and who just can barely, I feel it already. That person is already experiencing the same sort of self-challenge that the other person who has to do a lot more is doing. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. So it's very individual.
Yes.
It's very, you grow within yoga, and then you also, grow within yourself.
Exactly. Exactly.
Knock two birds out with one stone.
Yeah, make space for, recognize the old just to make space for the new, and sometimes I have a hoarding trait too, or just a hoarding tendency to keep on to things that, serve no value or serve or serve some, what I think is sentimental value, but really I just don't want to let go of this thing or something like that. You know what I mean? And so, doing that mentally or doing that, in our mental landscape can pay big dividends, especially with repeated practice and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can see people growing throughout doing yoga. It's more internal a lot of the times because you see people just being like, oh my God, I'm able to do this now.
Right.
Either gain courage or move on from something, grow within themselves no matter what age, which I feel is a lot of things that people are going on. It's bringing a lot of awareness to society now where people are always are holding on to this angst, this trying to be levels that they wish they would, and so it comes out in different ways and other people, and so it's kind of all just how we're affecting each other. And
absolutely, and understanding that not everybody grew up in the same environment, or many people have different things that hinder or help them, to be a bit more outgoing or small-minded or whatever it is, or just because we all have pros and cons, that we lean towards and lean into and want to stray away from. But yeah, it certainly is for everybody. It's an ancient practice that, if it's just for humans. You know what I mean? It's just really for humans.
We're all humans at the end of the
so
day, guys.
Not,
we all have a struggle.
If you're not even...
Yes, not. AI's a thing now.
Still try it.
We're going to do AI yoga.
Oh my God. New poses coming in.
Oh dear.
New poses. Oh.
So, now your clothing line. You got your hat.
Yes. Sarap to most people. Sarap, it's a, conjunctional phrase for it's a wrap, right? Something that we all say, something that we say when something's
I see.
We're
like today, it's a wrap for today's show.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But I'm part Filipino, and sarap means tasteful. It means delicious. It means yummy. Rough translation to yummy, good, delicious. I like to use it as tasteful and use it in terms of just exhibiting taste in all things. Not necessarily fashion, but extending the idea of ecologically friendly practices into fashion. I think that's tasteful.
Yeah.
Being the main purchaser for my company, I procure whatever I think is fashionable, fashion forward, and also edgy and not harmful and not derivative, or somewhat derivative, but not in the negative sense, and also not in the sense of, hey, Vietnam, Bangladesh, El Salvador, can you please ship me 1,000 of these in all these size runs and print my logo on it and say that it's genuine or say that
fast
it's
fashion.
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. But fast fashion on a small level, which is still, has a bit of a capitalistic tinge to it, and the just the outsourcing, the offshoring of certain things. that can be done in-house, the creativity that doesn't need to be exported or imported, the creativity that can be organically sourced and found on things like, OfferUp or Poshmark or things like that. I mean, most of my goods are new, has the tag on them, but my business model precludes me from sort of getting my raw goods from mass providers, mass distributors, mass manufacturers. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's human given. It's bought from other humans. It's not bought from
upcycling. And doing all of those things, which is great. It's a lot of things that are very local to Las Vegas. A lot of designers here are very good.
Absolutely, be surprised what you can find. But also, there's plenty of fabrics that have been created already that can be altered in a way or kept the very same if they're gorgeous, right? Or maybe just put my just put my logo on it. But yeah, so Wrap is I opened that in 2018, and I shut the doors for a temporary time, 2021. And so it's been on hiatus since then, just because there were some other boxes in life that I needed to check off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was paying a commercial rent and a residential rent, and I'm like, let me go get a mortgage popped in. You know what I mean? I get it. Passion is blessed. Clothes are blessed. They'll be there for me when it's time. When I'm in the station of life that I can once again give it my heart and what I feel it deserves. Then it will be there for me, sort of a butterfly or a caterpillar in a cocoon type of thing, almost done with metamorphosis. So that butterfly will fly again soon. But yeah, it's been sort of on the back burner as I, collect myself as a man, as a business person, as a father, as my daughter stands here videotaping me.
I was going to say, another big thing about the amazing thing about you is that you're very, 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 adamant about how proud of a father that you are. If anyone were to look you up online, amongst all of the work that you do and the amazing things you're doing for the city, first and foremost, you're like, I'm a dad. I love it. This is part of my life.
Sure.
And I'm not ashamed of it. This is something that I'm here, and this is a priority alongside all the things that you are doing, which is very admirable. And a lot of people, to meet someone like you, I'm pretty sure it would be a motivation for them to go, okay, well, I can do it. It's not impossible, and it's something that everyone can be extremely proud of, just like you.
Absolutely. The feeling is very mutual as well. The many things that you do and the many chainsaws that you juggle proverbially are, just kudos to you. Hats off to you. It's wonderful to watch.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't think you would be this whole time. I'm like, oh no, does Rayce even remember me? I messaged him. I'm like, I know we met years ago, and I couldn't even remember.
I was going to ask, can you tell me where you
was it a fashion show?
I want to say, CMXX.
I went
on a handful of fashion shows that week. They were, awesome. They were wonderful.
It was very Vegas.
It was very, off the cuff and triumphant, which is my style. I love that. I'm not really the biggest planner, and fail to plan to fail, but I'm a pretty good sort of last minute. Here's some quality work type of thing. You know what I mean?
Done. But quality over quantity. I always say.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I don't want 1,000 pennies. I'd rather however many quarters that is, or whatever. $10 or something. Yes. Anyway, So Wrap, that was such a beautiful and informative ride. That and I was at the time that I'm throwing these fashion shows. There's I was having a First Friday event where I would procure the acts, maybe 10, 11, 12 acts that I would just pick and like, wow, I like your music, you local monster, come over here. You know what I mean? Just come put on and oh wow, you sing like that. Bring your ass over here. Just,
the king of Las Vegas. He's like, you're all great.
No, I wouldn't say king at all. But certainly it did get to a point where it was hey, you know what's going on. I would love for you to come perform. Thank you. And be there at this time. And they would come and it would be hundreds of people just celebrating local artistry in the form of visual arts, in the form of musicianship, in the form of instrumentationalism, and in the form of whatever else in between. I would have tattoo artists there all the time.
Yeah.
And pretty not raunchy, but just First Street. And which if you're familiar with Las Vegas is right in the center of put it this way, we would do Operation Shoe the People, and we could pass out 20 pairs of shoes in maybe 200 yards down in either way. So and they would fit the unhoused population that call that area their transient home for the time being. And so just a place that is really reflective of not so much of the gentrification that has gone on as of late, as of the last 5, 8 years, which I'm also duly grateful for, right? The downtown project is a huge injection of 350 million into the zip code that I grew up in, and so that doesn't really happen. It doesn't really happen, and so that sort of comment that just happened, thanks to Tony Hsieh, right? So 150 million gets delivered to entrepreneurs, 200 million towards property enhancement. Yeah. And so now we have things like the Ferguson, now we have things like the Container Park, right? Yeah. We have things like Inspire, we have things like those bars, a lot of those bars down there, a lot of the restaurateurs down there were sourced by the Downtown Project team, if not Tony Hsieh himself or his immediate team. And building upon that, on his vision board for what that $350 million injection would consist of and what it would manifest as years down the line, the biggest word in there was yoga, and so it was in his vision to have a place for continual yoga practice for an area that was historically dilapidated, historically, derelict, exactly. And now it is what it is. It's the home of Life is Beautiful, just these many lingering ramifications from this philanthropic person that just, we get to build upon and be a part of and just, and just be ourselves in.
To the greatness of Old Vegas, to a place, especially because it's home for you, that little area in, downtown Vegas. And so to watch it grow and to know that, it's becoming something amazing, and it's also within your realm of what you do and what you stand for. So I think it's amazing that you have those opportunities down there to express yourself and continue to grow and build Las Vegas and help be a part of the expansion of the city. Yes. Because it's just not the Strip, guys. It's not just even Fremont. There's areas in Vegas where people are very proud of. They have hope for it, and they're building upon those things, and to make sure that the locals are proud of where they're from. And they stay here, and people move here to see how amazing it is.
That's right.
And what I love about, Serap is the fact that you create it. It's not just kind of like you're copying trends.
Hands are on it.
Hands are on it. Your brain is putting it here onto the item of clothing, so it's literally original. It's not even just thrifting or upcycling. It's literally coming out of your brain, your vibe, it's like you in clothes. Like you said, what you find fashionable, and whether you like it or not, it is, but it's him. You can't even say, I'm doing the same thing that person did, that same set, but I'm just putting my logo on it. Right. So it's absolutely amazing. And so one last question before we go, because I asked this one of my guests. Is there a philosophy that you live by?
A philosophy that I live by, I would say, treat others how you want to be treated. The golden rule is paramount to me, and I try to function with that on the forefront of my mind at all times. Just because, we tend to take a lot of things for granted as, maybe just young, hip, fly-by-night, somewhat fashion-forward people. And so we can lose sight of the many things that aren't glitz and glam that are going on around us at all times, right? It is nice to hold yourself in a positive light and acknowledge yourself as capable and powerful, but with great power comes great responsibility as well. And so to maximize one's positive impact with this small amount of time that we get in a lifespan, I think it's important just to remain true to yourself. Make sure that you've put in the work behind the scenes. Make sure that you're worthy of the person that you're walking around as. And even myself, I struggle with imposter syndrome sometimes, just because you should be your own toughest critic, I believe. And you should be confident in what you're putting out as palatable to the masses. But is it palatable to yourself in perpetuity? Perhaps not. And so that's the continuous foundation for growth that we should look back to once in a while and then move forward from quite more often.
Amazing. That deserves a round of applause. Absolutely fantastic. You're one of the few people born and raised in Las Vegas that are on the show. Everyone is coming from everywhere saying
Australia was just in the house.
Yeah, right? Really. Not even a different state. We have a different country in here, which is amazing.
Chicago in the house?
Yes. Thank you. Yes, exactly. And, you got the Philippines over here. You got all this stuff.
Be nice.
But you are literally, I love having those because you get a new viewpoint. This is a true Vegas local. Like, people who move here even have been there 10 years. We're not technically from Vegas. So you don't either, when you walk the street, everyone's like, I've never met a local before.
I know, they were just telling me that outside. They were like,
really?
I'm here from 74. I mean, I'm at 15. I was like, what?
Yeah, so it's like kind of like old Vegas royalty, this is what built Vegas, literally, because you're a realtor, everything. So amazing. So tell people where they can find you before we gotta say goodbye.
The yoga, come to my yoga class this weekend. What's today? Wednesday. Teach Saturday, Sunday morning, Monday evening. So Saturday, Monday morning, 8:45. Tickets at dtylv.com, downtown yoga, lasvegas.com, or Eventbrite, or you can just scan the QR code at Container Park if you're walking around there. Aside from that, Rayce the Realtor LV. Feel free to follow me on there, Rayce the Realtor LV. If you need a house, if you're looking if your lease is up almost soon, then I'd be more than happy to help you secure a nice new place for you or for some loved ones that you may know. Rayce the Realtor LV on Instagram, racetherealtor.com. If you want to, read up on the processes and things like if you're looking for an information hub, feel free to go to racetherealtor.com. That's RAYCE, the Realtor, REALTOR.com. And then Serap International, Serap INTL on Instagram. Feel free to follow that. Again, it's on hiatus, so if you get in on somewhat the ground floor, awesome. We'll be rocking soon again.
Yeah, he's got to let the ideas flow. Designing takes time,
right.
guys.
That's
right. You got to just let life inspire you, and then that has a new line.
That's right.
Artists, that's how we think. We got to let things happen to us first. But amazing. Oh yes, Pat, you are so welcome. Please introduce your beautiful daughter.
And this is Irene. This is the coolest second grader. Former second grader. Right, last day of school was Monday, but this is the coolest, biggest, strongest third grader in Las Vegas.
Yeah, rocking the hair like her dad, Absolutely amazing. So everyone, Rayce, he is absolutely going around Las Vegas doing everything that he wanted to do and inspiring others to do the same. So you can too. Please move to Vegas because you can be just like us. Here we are in studio and be like us. Like have all these opportunities. But
I got you this too.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's open this. Is this the part of the so this is what you can. Yes, I'm gonna wear this on the show because it's not green. So I can wear it. There you go.
Don't worry, yellow. I hope I'm not.
Okay, invisible here. This family might.
Perfect. And Mr. Pickles is here. Mr. Pickles away. He's been on enough TV programs.
We can always add another one.
There we go.
Priscilla show's different. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for being on here. Thank you for coming. Everyone, Rayce, follow him, support him, watch what he's doing. Everything's up and coming. Shop the line and stay tuned for more from the line. And make sure you guys don't go anywhere because, of course, as always, I am not done talking to you. So get another refill, your second, third, fourth, and we will see you after the break.
This show is brought to you by Modern Word Ministries.
What affects your credit? The answer can be many things. Let's take a look at a few of the most common factors and how they can impact your credit. Credit history. In order to have a credit score, you need to have open and active credit accounts. This gives you the opportunity to build a credit score and get approved for larger purchases such as a car or a home. So it's important to have a responsible record of debt repayment. Available credit and usage. The rule of thumb is to use 30% of your available credit to minimize the impact of debt on your credit score. In other words, the less credit you use, the better. Monthly on-time payments. By making sure your monthly payments are paid on time, you could boost your credit score. Late payments, however, may bring your score down. Errors on your credit report. Check your credit report regularly to make sure it's accurate. If there are any errors or signs of identity theft, report them immediately to the appropriate credit bureau. Applications for credit. If you're applying for credit, filling out several applications in a short amount of time may hurt your credit score. It's ideal to keep the applications to a minimum. However, there is an allowable shopping window for a mortgage. Remember, a good credit score could possibly save you in interest payments. If your credit score needs some improvement, however, consider starting with the basics mentioned here. And when you're ready to buy your dream home, give New American Funding a call. We'll help you find a home loan that works for you and your unique situation.
Have you ever dreamed of sharing your views and knowledge with the world? It should be easy, right? Just turn on your phone, talk into the camera, upload to your social media, then sit back and wait to go viral. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Not only that you need a great message, you also need a video production as well as a quality sound and lighting. If that's not enough, you still need to make sure that video's description, title, and thumbnails are optimized by SEO and search algorithms. What a hassle! Don't worry, Social Media Shows is here to help. With our years of production online experience and professional studio, we can remove all the technical roadblocks out of your way so that you can focus on the message you want to share with the whole world. We have production plans that fit any budget. Visit Social Media Shows today at socialmediashows.com and schedule your free pilot audition today.
An amazing episode as per usual. Thank you guys so much for watching. I just want to give you guys a shout out for viewing, for sharing, for commenting, for bringing awareness to this particular show here at Social Media Shows. It was a grueling 2 weeks off because I'm getting so used to being able to come here every week, meet new people, challenge myself. You know, as Kurt and I were talking, like meeting new personalities, and then as me and Rayce are talking, everyone's from somewhere else. So being able to connect with people from a totally different world than you and being relatable and you networking and finding a connection can be very hard for many, but I love it. Everyone here is great with people. Clearly, all their jobs is based on networking and traveling and meeting people. So Las Vegas is the city for you. We have tons of things here for you and great locals. People come here and they stay here because it's just up and coming and building. And of course, another reason why I love coming here is because it is my weekly fashion show, because clearly I come here and I'm showcasing the fashion of Priscilla. Shout out to August D, aka Sugar from BTS, if you guys know. So I wore this because I went to his concert when I was in Chicago, and he is, I think, and news for all my K-pop lovers out there, the first rapper to ever make, he made the most doing just an arena tour. He didn't do stadiums. He could sell them out, but he did an arena tour, and he's made the most money out of all the rappers here in the United States. So he was the first one, and he is thebomb.com. So if you guys are interested and was wondering why I'm wearing a shirt with some Asian guy on it, is because he's the baddest. And if you guys better just don't be thinking, oh my god, some K-pop, like whatever, rapping police. No, he is like thebomb.com. Like August D without A, it's AGUSTD. So be out there, be on the look. You can get the look like me. Let me model it. Let me stand. Maria's telling me to stand so you guys can see the fit. Boom, bam, alakazam. Anyway, so okay, you've heard enough of me. I'm kind of chattering on and on like a YouTuber, and we can't have that. So anyways, I know that you've missed me, and it won't be long till you see me again, because next Wednesday will be popping up before you know it. I'm here chit-chattering all day with you. So as always, don't forget my name. Don't wear it out. I am Priscilla Moy, here as a host of The Hot Seat, live in real time in Social Media Show. So I will see you next week, or you can see me every day. You can see me again after this. I have many episodes up on this channel, so just be browsing. Add the view, add the share, add the comment, add the like. I don't know. Anyways, I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching, and we are also open to sponsorships. I have to always say that because I love you guys, and I know you love me, and you love Maria. So where y'all at? We're here for you. Anyways, I will see you next week. Bye.